This next question comes to us from Ezra DeVore, who I believe is the same Ezra that makes such amazing music. If that's the case, Ezra, amazing music. Thank you so much.
Good, Ezra.
I gotta express the weight of Ayda's representation in Fantasy High sophomore year. As I heard of her autism, I just began to hardcore ugly cry. As a person who struggles with that, it meant more to me than you know. What brought you to portray an artistic character? Also, does this season just take place in a fridge? Maybe you've caught on to my little bulb joke. I will briefly talk about Ayda Aguefort because I want to talk about A Crown of Candy and the fridge joke, everything like that. I love Ayda Aguefort with all my heart. Playing her means the world to me. I didn't know, like, as a DM, you never know which of your NPCs people are going to like or latch onto. Ayda was originally created as like kind of a fetch quest character, like a character that had a resource the PCs needed that would be a fun scene for them to interact with and then move on.
And then Fig fell in love.
Oh, this is so beautiful. It's also it's also one of the first times I've
don't know anything.
It was very different because normally when there's like romantic storylines, which obviously, like romance is a bigger part in Fantasy High because Fantasy High is a coming of age tale, and there's a lot of like exploring, like my friends have kissed, I haven't kissed, what does that say about me? I'm growing up, I'm discovering things about my identity, my sexuality, like this is all new and scary and exciting, etc. But Ayda, when I first created Ayda, I was like, this will be a fun tie-in to Arthur Egfort's paramour being a phoenix. What a cool character that would be. More cool world building on Leviathan. And my main thing for Ayda Aguefort was like, I wanted to model her kind of after the Sherlock archetype of like, this is a brilliant person who is good-hearted, but is so brilliant that they are within that Sherlock mode of like, they're not existing necessarily on that social dimension. And I also modeled her after a couple of my close friends who are very academic in that way and can be very intense in that way. And then what happened was I started to, so she wasn't supposed to be in the campaign all that much. And then was like adopted by the bad kids, as the bad kids are want to do. Hello, Galir, and like brought her along. And then I started to see people say that it'd be like is Ayda autistic? And I was like, huh. And I was like, oh, Sherlock Holmes is very autistic coded within Arthur Conan Doyle's work, obviously from a very different time period. And then I was thinking about my friends that I had modeled Ayda after, and was like, oh, those are my autistic friends. Oh my God, like just putting together of like, oh, absolutely. So then I jumped in, I did a bunch of research. I was like, oh, this is something like if this character's around longer and is more nuanced, let's research this and get this right. But playing Ayda is, Ayda is like one of my, like, is up there with Jawbone in terms of being a character that I love to play, and is like, I don't know, she's like very, very special. So I'm so glad that people love Ayda. I love Ayda with all my dang heart.
My friend also really, my friends on the spectrum, and they were telling me how much they loved Ayda as well.
It's a wild thing to play because, like, I don't know. There's the character is so fun for me to play, and there is a part of playing her where it's like this like brilliant wizard person where you like the stuff where she like, you know, the subtext and things that she doesn't grasp, where she's like, is this normal? Or she goes like, or she's like says things like out loud. She's like, curious. Or like, you know, Emily's flirting with her and she's like, I'm flustered. This is wonderful. I can't tell you how like weirdly freeing it is to play a character that just says what they mean. Like
as the person playing the romantic interest, it's awesome.
Right? Like
it's like kind of the reason why I was like, Oh my God, I love this character because it's just like everything's on the table versus my character who everything was like, like tried to hide everything, whether or not she did it well or not. I just loved how open she was.
Oh my God. And as the person playing her too, because every single way you play a character, like when I'm playing like Bill Seacaster, to play a character, you have to kind of rearrange your mind a bit. I'm like, Bill Seacaster, okay, Brennan, any impulse you have, follow. Like whatever, it's a pure id, right? Like have the impulse follow it. This is a person that does not check those things. And with Ayda, what I get to do is take all that software that I'm like running in my mind all the time to be like, okay, like, don't say certain things, lie a little bit, be subtle about X, Y, or Z thing. To play Ayda, you just like toggle that off. I'm talking about myself in a very inhuman way right now, and I don't mean to like communicate it that way, but like it's extremely when all that like software goes away of like really worry about like innuendo and yada yada and all this stuff. I don't know. It feels so wonderfully honest and beautiful. I love Ayda to death. I think she's incredible. It's like very relaxing to play Ayda, to be honest with you.